Everybody get up, it's time to slam now.
Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. Come on and slam, if you wanna jam.
Face it, we suffer from Stockholm Syndrome, loving a country that lynches us with policy, that buries us under prisons, that turns our names into hashtags and our deaths into debates. We are fluid in the language of loss, but somehow still we find a way to sing. We are the echoes of Amadou, the spirit of Sandra, the defiance of Malcolm, the endurance of Harriet. We are martyrs in waiting. Our faces booked for execution before birth certificates dry. We have been marked for mourning. Our motherland robbed of her children by conquistadors and capitalists with sugarcane in one hand and shackles in the other. We are the soundtrack to survival. Our Grammys are ashamed of us, but our voices shake cathedrals. We float like butterflies, sting like coerced confessions, fight like ancestors who whisper revolt in our bones. But we are also the punchline, the stereotype rerun, the reality TV drama, the walking contradiction, scratching lottery tickets in a country that gambled our futures before we had a chance to dream. We are so poor, we can't afford the O, and the R is still on layaway. We are stalked by wolves in Zimmerman clothing, lurking with long claws, with 9mm 40 caliber fangs dripping with the blood of another justified homicide. Now, Kanye, that shit right there is crazy. Somebody once told me I need to let go of this poetry thing. They said, yo, Warrior, bro, you got this incredible intellect and you should be focused on other things. They said, if you haven't made it via word of mouth by now, you should seriously consider putting your mic down. Pick up that last quill pen, they said, and dip that shit in the inkwell and lift it only to begin finishing your line. Then they started laughing sarcastically when they were suggesting that I should write my last piece. They told me I should rehearse it hard so I could deliver it fluid. They said that I should find an open mic to spit this long-awaited, highly anticipated poetic finale, and I should bow out gracefully, content with the knowledge that I, just little old me, was just one of the contributors to the growth and development of spoken word poetry in the 21st century. They told me I should go home and I should pop in a copy of the very first CD. The very first CD I ever recorded was Soul of a Warrior in 2003. They said, sit down and breathe, they said. Grab a bite to eat, they said, and maybe a little something to drink, they said, and dig this one, yo. They said I should toss my crib notes, store my writing material, and toss my ballpoints, my Bics, my gels, my felt tips in the garbage disposal. That's it. Que sera, it's whatever will be. Real talk? Real talk, it would be the death of me. You see, I am a spoken word artist. Emphasis on the word artist. And when I spit a poem, I try to saliva color verbal frescoes on the ceilings of cerebral Sistine chapels for the love of it. And frankly, I'm not ready to write my Paul Goodnight yet. See, I am not the norm, man. I rock well. Norman Rockwell. So when others fall back, in writer's block, I fall back on my block to cultivate the grassroots. That's why I can reap the harvested fruit from the seeds that I've sown. Never, ever will I burn my bridges, because all it takes is a U-turn to bring me home again. That's for real talking. I really walk these poems. So I want y'all to picture me. Just picture me walking without poems. That's an empty frame, a blank canvas, an unused brush, some wasted paint. That's a dead poet. Society lost one, but I ain't the one, never that. I ain't finished yet. Just like that choreographer. Y'all might know me. She's the one that inspires those young hopefuls by day, but at night she puts on those Nikes and those taps and those ballet shoes, and she ties them jokers up tight, and then she practices and practices and she practices until Luna, the moon, gives way to Amun Ra, the sun's light, and the street lights go dark. until the salsa is Kama Sutra like a semi-erotic work of art, until the moonwalk is as smooth as the king of pop. Yo, she just got to dance. See, y'all don't understand. See, this is in my soul. I gotta spit these poems. I'm a bard until I'm burnt out. My muse is charred until my arteries grow hard, until carpal tunnel syndrome, and I can't hold a pen until I'm on life support, my heart monitored, and I'm sipping on one of those IV fluids. I'm damn near comatose, my tongue numb, and I'm blind to the ways of mankind. My best years behind. This pen been akin to Benjamin Button, and not a drop of saliva is left in my mouth, only cotton. These poems are the fabric of my life. I wear them Michael Jackson like, gloved up over these 5 vowels that resemble my fingertips. And if I crack my knuckles, to me they sound like every one of 21 consonants. And if you look at my palms closely, they are multisyllabically imprinted. I keep a piece up my sleeve prepared for an impromptu performance. Poetically, I stay well dressed. Verse and cadence buttoned up to my neck, and I feel each piece in my chest like a laid off asthmatic with no inhaler on the verge of having an attack. This poem right here. This is my gas for breath, my last dollar spent from my last cash paycheck. I'd be dead broke without this shit. It's just that serious. I got black and blue ink stains on the insides of my pockets. That's the telltale signs of a wordsmith. I'm a script mason. This is what I do. This is my skill set. See, these words, they're my bricks, and these pens, they're my tools. I built sentence structures that will stand the test of time. Line for line, circle C, all these copyrights reserved by me. This poem right here, it's mine for all you lying ass plagiarists. You can infringe on my civil liberties if you want to. I will murder your monologue, throw rocks, bury your manuscript, surrender to the literary police, and plead the First Amendment privilege to make your acquaintance. Let me introduce myself. My name is Michael Warrior Bonds. I am a griot, but you can call me a poet. In the heart of your career, where ambition meets adversity, you stand. Woven with resilience, threaded with hope, each step a testament to strength, a declaration against the weight of history. Systemic barriers press heavy, but you rise, you strive, and you thrive. Generations before you fought, faced locked doors and unseen walls, exclusion, bias, the silent rules, yet they carved paths from resistance. You walk that road, not just to survive, but to excel, to illuminate spaces once dimmed. You are more than struggle. You are brilliance, creativity, fire, and still you lift others as you climb, knowing that community is not just a word, but a foundation, a force, a movement. Hope fuels your fight. And this spark, it is the spark in the late night work, the voice in the meetings once closed to you, the drive to challenge, to change, to turn tokenism into transformation, to demand more than a seat, but a voice, a choice, a legacy. Diversity is more than a checkbox you see through the facade, refusing to be a symbol when you are a force. Each small victory, a title earned, a door opened, a barrier broken, becomes a beacon, a path, not just for you, but for those who follow you. You navigate the labyrinth, steadfast in your belief that equity is more than a dream. It is a promise you refuse to let die. And in this fight, you are not alone. Your hands, your voice, your presence reshape the world you inhabit. In the face of adversity, you stand, unyielding, unwavering, a reminder that resilience is not just endurance, but creation, innovation, liberation. You rise, you keep striving, and you thrive.
Hindsight being 2020, I'm not sure if our friendship was particularly healthy. If it ever could have been, given that we were, as the youth are fond of saying, trauma bonded. I'd spent years seeking the spotlight because its glare beat back my perpetual shadows. So I chased that light like a cat with a laser pointer. Even now, when I talk of hard things, my face breaks into a smile, a ghoulish grin as tears gather in the corners of my cruelly upturned mouth. Perhaps you could call it rueful if you were feeling generous, but I suspect it's just creepy. Stop smiling, bitch. What kind of Stepford daughter shit is that? She looked past my large personality and larger body and saw the darkness always lingering behind me. She wasn't distracted by the glare of the spotlights I wheeled around with me. She knew because she was running from her own darkness. Like recognizes like. And together, we could stop. We could catch our breath. I don't want to say her darkness won. That feels disrespectful. But it's also true. She stepped willingly into that void. I hope she is at peace. But I am not. On the one hand, after a life of suicidal ideation, living through the aftermath has given me a commitment to life that I have never before possessed, not for my own sake, but for others. I could never wield my own mortality, no matter how heavy the pain. Not now that I know it doesn't disappear with you, that it can be bequeathed without your consent, a lingering legacy for those you love. On the other hand, I had no one to rest with, and I'm so tired of running. I have become more open about my darkness, grab hold of the hands that reach out for me, but they don't understand like she did. They don't know. And when I lie curled up in bed, catatonic in the dark, I think of her, and I miss her like I would miss a limb. The phantom pain of her absence unrelenting. And that grounds me to some extent. At least that pain has a source. At least that pain has the echoes of love behind it. At least that pain remembers when it used to be joy. I suppose I can give her the highest compliment a friend can receive. She changed me for the better. And in the spirit of one of our favorite lyrics, I will be a little cliche. She has left handprints all over my battered heart. I know I'm who I am today because I knew her.
Life is the ultimate simulation video game. Our parents pre-ordered us without reading its contents. The minority in the United States pre-order DLC sucks. I would like to have a refund, but there are no refunds issued when life is set on survival mode. And that is what you do. Survive. Survive through trial and error. Learn what it is to thrive in a seemingly never-ending cycle. Even if the results are not desirable at first, survive. As much as you try to survive and be the best version of yourself possible, there are always going to be those who view you as public enemy number one. There are always going to be those who refuse to look into the mirror, who deflect and overlook their flaws, painting them on your canvas, making you look like some kind of jackass. There are always going to be those who will instantly forget all the good you've put out, then villainize you and morally sentence you without trial at the first given opportunity, shining a big spotlight on a fallacy that the light's intensity has blinded them. There will be people who blindly purchase lies without reading the price tag nor the package contents, proceeding to make a mess regardless. Forgiveness is the first step towards salvation. Forgive them, for they do not know any better. Their instinct is to jump to conclusions, shoot first, then don't ask questions, passing judgment like kidney stones, pissing out processed pain like processed food. Research and investigation is not valued here. Nobody pitches any no-hitters or perfect games on this field. It is impossible to go throughout life without making a couple mistakes. However, nobody should be casting any stones, for we are all sins looking for holiness. Nobody's candle shines brighter if they blow out another's. May the silence of their hypocrisy scream and echo in eternity. May the welts from their pelting reduce in swelling over time. May the scars from the wounds depict a story of survival. Survive and thrive out of spite's control. Your narrative. It's the only one you get.
I've never been good at carrying anger. It shapeshifts in my heart. becomes less a weapon I wield towards an unjust world and more of a hair shirt. I've never hated anyone like I hate myself, and I don't mean a judicious hatred, one where cause equals effect. I mean that person you despise unjustly, instinctually, someone whose vibes are just off. That is how I hate myself, as a foregone conclusion. I hate hating other people, too, to the point where if I do, I crack my own spine navel gazing, as if my belly button holds the secret to my contempt. Maybe there is something to that, though. My belly button is the scar that severed my connection from you, and your anger is magnificent. You have burned with it for so long, I imagine your womb a cozy place, heated by that flame. Perhaps my anger is vestigial, left over from yours, a foreign body that has made a home in me. Perhaps that is why I have always been exhausted by it. Perhaps that's why it attacks me, because it's not of me. It is not a cancer born of my own cells, but an invader, a conqueror. Viewed that way, I sound almost noble, don't I? Quick, quick, find a way to make it my fault. Can't give myself credit. That's not how I roll. So I write, and I write, and I write as if no one will read it, and then immediately FaceTime anyone I can think of to read it. Perhaps that is my penance. Or is it that I cannot trust my own judgment? And so I expose my soul to the judgment of others and hope that they find something worth judging there. And if they judge me wanting, I do not blame them. I blame only myself, obviously. If we've gotten this far, at least that should be obvious. So please, judge me. Love me. Like me. Let me spill my words on your shirt like soup. I'll find a way to make it up to you. I have to take my self-compassion as a supplement, because I cannot produce it naturally. But that's the miracle of modern science, isn't it? At least that's what I tell myself while I swallow my handful of pills every morning, greet the day with SSRIs and the closest thing you've got to legal meth, all washed down with coffee's bitter brew. I swallow it all down, only to vomit it on a page and give it to you like a gift. I am so very sorry, but there are no takebacks.
And Oregon evicted itself from the host of 63 years. I sit here in the hospital wondering if maybe I was not a great hostess. Is this remorse for a part of me that did its job successfully for many years until it didn't? All the ripping and running diet of my youth, not willing to give up, unable to satisfy my sweet tooth, filling nights with chips and dip, French fries, accompanied sandwich on diner dish, making its job an underappreciated one. And of course, the stakes became too high when it was either them or me willing to survive. On hands and knees, retching in the bathtub water, pulsing on sore back and front of former home, desperately looking for any relief for the insidious, unrelenting pain, a knocking on heaven's door came, which I was forced to answer, like an unwelcome house guest. No hiding behind the couch, no pretending I was not home, no Entenmann's coffee cake pull out for company. I thank it, though, for the years of silent, faithful service and my new lower blood pressure numbers, and wonder who else will have to be paid tribute next.
As I get older, I am starting to realize that death is a lot more than just the end of life. It is the passing of the torch for lessons and wisdom continuing to go on and on from generation to generation. Death is the missing piece of the puzzle that makes me feel incomplete. Death is like a shattered piece of glass with shards that always hurt and tends to bring pain when those that have passed are brought up in conversation. I try to pick up the pieces with the desire to feel whole again, but what remains is a human being that is hurt and broken. When I find out that someone I once knew has passed away, everything I say ends with again. The first thing that sinks in is the fact that I will never get to see this person again. I won't get to share a moment with this person again. I won't get to experience life with this person again. The man that I've become is a person that is failing to fill a void of someone who was, is, and will always be irreplaceable.
Love Jones hit skins, fiending young naivety, sharing needle thrills, jonesing for a fix. An addiction that is almost criminal. Open your heart like legs divided and pump, the blood till your heart is bursting. So used to pleasing men, see men leave soon as the deed is done. That's how you literally forget love. There is no condom for your heart, Alicia said. When your heart has taken that kind of pounding, it just stops, dead inside. But ain't love supposed to make you feel alive? Urgent even? Urgent like you gotta leave right now. Another fight. Urgent as a beam of light breaking through a toxic relationship. Photograph the moments and all you have is years coiled in bad decisions, seeking validation wrapped in memories, but always blind to this very moment. You have been my poetry since before I knew how to write, but I've outgrown this work. You take it back anyway, urgent like hungry after fasting, like this is the last time I'm dealing with this, dehydrated emotionally from constant beating on skins with light for generations looking for love. Repercussions turn dark melanin in a DNA woven strand glory, but a lone strand better off in a body of lonely full of opportunity than a dead relationship. Giving every bone shattering sound just to please, but heart hollow from heartbreak 6 months. It wasn't that we didn't know how to love right. It's that we didn't know how to love when it counted. Those with profound insight know not to get married. Those with profound insight know that marriage is what you make it. Staying there means you still haven't exhausted all the possibilities, and all I'm looking for is urgency in those possibilities.
Oh, Crab Rangoon, you fill me up with fulfillment when you're filling face plants onto a field of my taste buds. Every time I have you inside my oral cavern, I cannot help but want to crush you with my stalagmite teeth and swallow you into my abyss while I enjoy feeling you disintegrate slowly under my pressure as you slide all the way down to the pit of my being. Oh, Crab Rangoon, you perfectly highly addictive yet perfectly legal drug. And yes, I said drug. Have you ever eaten one and not feel dopamine and serotonin flood through every mini vessel in your being with the utmost sense of culinary nirvana? Oh, Crab Rangoon, you are the Asian equivalent to Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop. In life, there should be only two universal defining periods, life before and after accepting Crab Rangoon as your Lord, Savior, and demigod. Oh, Crab Rangoon, you miracle of life. If you were made in your original, pure form, the pharmaceutical industry would cease to exist because you cure all. I'll never forget that one time I had that weird stomach ache, and you, with your crunchy exterior and your cheesy, creamy, crabby holiness, oh, Crab Rangoon, you are the body of Christ. Your healing powers influenced me to start an underground street fighting club called Crab Rangoon Club. And the first rule of Crab Rangoon Club is that we definitely talk about Crab Rangoon Club. Oh, Crab Rangoon, the joy and despair of all how they rewrote the history books on you. You, Crab Rangoon, every 80s power ballad and a 70s adult film was inspired by you in some weird way by your rich, sexual white chocolate. Oh, Crab Rangoon, I am a goon for you, always have and always will. Stampedes of crazed adults trampling children, storming shelves in the fashion of Allied forces storming Normandy Beach. Grown-ass adults investing their life savings into purchasing the rarest of their kind, only to lose almost all of their value of their collection. A New Hampshire couple thought they hatched a dope idea by forging checks to purchase and sell them for a profit, only to purchase heroin with it. Now flooding hospital donation bins, Goodwill and Savers locations nationwide, in the closets of unfortunate heirs of a lost fortune, Beanie Babies were the Bitcoin of the 1990s. These little-lipped sacks of understuffed animals now face a more grim future, being the filling of beanbag chairs, as their owners have developed a fetish of sitting on the carcasses of their friends, mainly as a way to achieve a cheap dopamine rush by exacting revenge on their failed investments of hopes and dreams through imprisonment, utter dominance, and occasional gas torture by way of flatulence. In a moment as bizarre as the moment that birthed it, this kink is known by many different names, depending on region. Beanie Baby chambering has taken the North American furry communities by storm in a similar fashion that Queenie babying was popularized by the royal family. Beanie Baby Kinkaroo has shook Japan's kink world to its core, to the point that cyberpunk cinema is experiencing a renaissance. The ripples of influence even stretch out throughout India as new positions were included in a revised edition of the Kama Sutra named after the most popular Beanie Babies, with Squealer the Pigs voted #1 in Cosmopolitan India's list of highest positions to do with your partner this summer. You see, it doesn't matter what you call it. At the end of the day, it is a yum that'll be yucked a lot more than toes getting sucked in an ever so evolving case study that is worth exploring, preferably from a distance.
Is it alligator Auschwitz or Alcatraz? I heard a senator say, please refrain from calling it a concentration camp. No one was marched into gas chambers. Be it gas or alligators, poverty or pollution, Germany or Israel, what's the difference? Same Lord, different flies. Different people, same lives. Still can't tell a human from an animal from a savage. All three have been kept in cages. The ghetto is not defined as a concentration camp. It is usually a poor section of a city, inhabited primarily by people of the same race, religion, or social background. Often because of discrimination. Used to be the Jews, now it's me and you, the new goats to greed. There are no walls in the ghetto. They won't pay you enough to leave, barely pay you enough to eat. The water is too contaminated to drink. The foods you eat won't allow you to think. There are no guards in the ghetto, but police will beat you into a caged bird until you too can't breathe. Rupture your spleen, take your life for a traffic stop. There is no Zyklon in the ghetto, but there are pesticides in our food, lead in our water, bleach in our meat. Corporations set up shops in our backyards, polluting our air, food, water, wreaking havoc on our bodies. And we get so sick, the only way out seems like death. Don't make enough money for the cure, just enough to soothe the symptoms. Where cancer spreads quicker than fire, be it a pig farm or a refinery. They say it can hold up to 5,000 detainees. And I ask myself, how many detainees can America's ghettos hold?
When she's gone. When she's gone, there's no place like home. A house is mere shelter. Food is just something to eat. Clothes are simply something to put on. Until she comes back, you front hoping Malcolm don't get in the middle. The sun is too hot. Rain is depressing. Winds blow Chicago on your mind. And you feel as cold as the Michigan River in February when she's gone. When she's gone, love is Floyd Mayweather's best punch. Each time you hear the word, it knocks you out. The ring chokes your heart chakra. Humor is too sarcastic. Sarcasm insults your intellect. Insults trigger the beast who is only soothed by the beauty who has left the building. It no longer feels like home when she's gone. Just visiting. We had become more than ourselves, transcended flesh, illuminated. We were just visiting this place. She missed, I smoke, she moist, I warm to the touch. We evaporated, became saline, perspiration. She tasted good in her body. Borrowed vehicles, we drove here, parked them here, returning frequently, just visiting the morals about us so as not to seem antisocial. A pitiful bunch, these mortals, unaware of their ability to fly. At times, we discussed their topics, became our topics while visiting community, race, ego, smoke, mist, in areas 51, Ground Zero, and the Ninth Ward, and the District of Columbia. Other topics included, but were not limited to relevance, importance, urgency, and love. She, wealthy with information, can and could converse on a myriad of scholarly topics, recall quotes, philosophies, natural cures, and remedies with a Google natural ease. I, accepting nothing at face valued, research, a jack of most ideologies, a master of common sense, interpreting this life in layman terminology is my superpower. We were just visiting. I, an immovable object, she, an unstoppable force. We met, slept, morphed, developed in love. She missed, I smoked. We evaporated, became saline, transcended, returned, just visiting. We were meant to be here, laughing at ourselves unapologetically. The world is satire. We get it, got it. Others missed the point, or so it seemed, by several New York blocks. We agreed to keep them informed of their potential for greatness in a prose from time to time. They are your people, we'd say affectionately. Gotta love them from a distance, just visiting. I want y'all to imagine me a martyr. My face is soaked with snot and plasma. And all of my ancestry.com is laying out right in front of you, slain. I guess I look like another macabre American portrait painted with a bullet's brush dipped in Black Lives brain matter. And all of the nucleotide triplets of DNA and RNA molecules that carried my information have stopped. My genetic code is moot. My body My body is surrounded by chalk mark, black boots, blue suits, yellow caution tape, but no empathy. None. While a cacophony of unfamiliar faces parades my corpse, I am Twilight Zone in a galaxy of androids flashing iPhones, tweeting conspiracy theories about my untimely demise. I'm watching the whole world star in a Snapchat in a concerted effort to make me come alive again on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. This is what I call the Nipsey hustle. Okay, all those Illuminati theories aside, and besides all that cat Eric Holder told us about the LAPD battery pack in his back with a promise of 75 G's, so far as I know, not one police officer has yet been proven involved in the shooting. Not one bag of Skittles or an iced tea was found at the scene of the crime. The brother had no hoodie on, no wallet or cell phone was mistaken for a gun. The brother had no asthma. No chokehold stopped him from breathing. Unfortunately, once again, he was killed by one of us, one of them, one of those who just keep martyring themselves like headshots that just can't wait to happen. They just can't wait to happen. They've always been targeted for extinction. We were born on the endangered species list. We grew up to become the probable causes that affect everything. Everything. So imagine them, if you will. Shots fired at their emotions weren't on their sleeve. They got those light skin type egos that bruise too easy. Their flesh is a weapon armed with a loaded genitalia, acne, premature facial hair, a permanent 5 o'clock shadow, razor bumps, and goose pimples because they're scared. They're scared of being scared. So every day they wake up locked and loaded, drop down on one wounded knee. I call them Kappa niggas. Call them Kappa niggas. Pledging allegiance to no flag but their own, just Nipsey hustling, everyday Nipsey hustling backwards, like moonwalking dead veterans of a war they will never win. They will never win. They will never win. So imagine them, if you will. Imagine them just resting in peace.